that Chris Christie, a guy shouts out, he's a fat pig. Now he shouted out, Chris Christie is a fat pig. Then they shouted out, Bill Barr is a fat pig. He's a slob. He's a fat pig. You're not allowed to use the word fat. You're not allowed to say that. So they say, Bill Barr, sir, he's a fat pig. And I say, listen, Bill Barr is not a fat pig. Chris Christie is not a fat pig, sir. I defend them.
That's Donald Trump attacking his former Attorney General, Bill Barr, who did everything to protect Donald Trump. When Bill Barr is now branded a rhino by Donald Trump and MAGA world, and Bill Barr is considered a traitor and disloyal to Donald Trump and the MAGA world, that should tell you just how extreme MAGA, Donald Trump, and all of the MAGA Republican crazy world has become. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Now, in Donald Trump's recent federal filing, in his reply brief in support of his motion to dismiss for selective and vindictive prosecution, when Donald Trump was saying who was being selective, who was being vindictive, who was targeting him, it's not that he's just saying special counsel Jack Smith and Merrick Garland and all the stuff he says about the Biden administration. No, for Donald Trump, the selective and vindictive prosecution that he's talking about, he claims started with his own attorney general, that Bill Barr and others who worked for Bill Barr and many others in the Trump administration, that they were deep state agents going after Donald Trump to undermine him. His own people is what Donald Trump is arguing in this absurd selective and vindictive prosecution motion that he filed. And the example that he gives, the attachment that he gives in this motion that he brought, is a letter from none other than Bill Barr from his own Department of Justice. We will pull that up right now for you just so you can see how absurd this is. But let's take a look at the motion. President Trump's reply in support of motion to dismiss for selective and vindictive prosecution. He's not the president. I'm just reading what it says. Not the president, but his lawyers have to refer to him that over and over again. And say it again, over and over again. Donald Trump respectively submits this reply in further support. And then it goes, dubbing team members career prosecutors does not insulate the activities of special counsel's office from judicial or public scrutiny. The reliable media reports submitted by Trump, which are based on information from other, quote, career prosecutors and government officials, demonstrate the unconstitutional nature of the investigation. So he cites his own MAGA media, which is not evidence. And then it goes on to say, if career prosecutors in this case wanted to dispute the content of those reports, there was a straightforward way to do it. Submit declarations by first-hand witnesses denying the operative facts under oath. In other words, you need to, Jack Smith, prove the negative. Donald Trump's going to go out there and say you're all part of a deep state cabal. Now, submit declarations to prove the negative. And special counsel Jack Smith's like, look, this is so absurd. This is so outrageous. Just go away. There's no basis at all for this filing. Then it goes on to say, but the answer is simple. The media reports are accurate, just citing random media reports. Thus, despite all of the special counsel's self-aggrandizing comments about supposedly unprecedented nature of his manufactured allegations against Trump, the truly unprecedented aspect of this case is that a sitting president successfully urged the DOJ to try to take down his chief political rival and now the leading candidate to be the next president. Biden was so successful, blah, 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 because Biden was so successful, in fact, that the special counsel brought two deeply flawed cases against Trump and has engaged in a reckless effort to proceed to trial in both as soon as possible, even while President Biden anxiously waits to learn whether he will be charged with crimes by a different special counsel. The Biden administration may not, through this prosecution, retaliate against Trump for speaking out, for exercising his constitutional right to run for office. I mean, it's just a bunch of whining, but then it goes, the special counsel's office declares without basis that the factual and legal record contains absolutely no indication of selective or vindictive prosecution. That is not accurate. First, evidence of the insidious and unconstitutional bias at the heart of the prosecution team in this case emerged within days of the 2020 election. On November 12, 2020, Deputy Special Counsel J.P. Coney and Senior Special Counsel Molly Gaston signed a letter to then Attorney General Bill Barr in which they declared the allegations regarding election fraud were false. Coney and Gaston signed the letter as Assistant United States Attorneys at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia without any basis in fact or any investigation to support this sweeping claim. And then they cite the Coney and Gaston letter to Bill Barr and the Bill Barr DOJ letter as all being entangled and inextricably intertwined. Then here it is right here. United States Attorney's Office for District of Columbia, a letter to Bill Barr by the Justice Department under Bill Barr. And here it says, Dear Attorney General, dear Mr. Barr, we currently serve in the Public Corruption and Civil Rights section in the United States Attorney's Office. We share responsibility for enforcing the federal criminal election law in this jurisdiction and are alumni of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. The views expressed below are our own. We write to voice support for the nonpartisan career prosecutors in the Public Integrity section, especially the former Election Crimes Branch, Director Richard Pilger, whose faithful administration of the department's longstanding policy of non-interference in elections for decades has protected the institution from the appearance of political partisanship. The process by which you reached your decision to issue the memorandum, coupled with its timing and the apparent elimination of the investigative consultation requirement, undermine the department's commitment to non-interference in election and constitute a grave threat to the department's status as an independent, nonpartisan institution. The collateral damage it has already inflicted, including resignation of Mr. Pilger, turmoil within the ranks of the career nonpartisan prosecutors, and the PAL at its risks, casting over the integrity of the 2020 election. So they're citing a letter from the Public Integrity section to Bill Barr, and ultimately to say that you see that this somehow shows this wide-ranging conspiracy. But here's the fact as you read it. Here's the video of Bill Barr saying that all of these things that Donald Trump was spreading were just lies. That's what they were, pure and utter lies. Here, play this clip.
But I don't like, all these overkill attacks that this was somehow reprehensible to bring it. What was reprehensible was the conduct after the election. And it's perfectly to be expected that the Department of Justice would approach it the way it would approach something like this, which is under the laws against defrauding the United States and obstructing proceedings.
So that's what Donald Trump is utilizing to claim that there's vindictive prosecution, saying that the Bill Barr DOJ was in on it back in 2020 to go after him, even though you had the people criticizing Bill Barr, and ultimately Bill Barr came to the conclusion that there was no fraud capable of overturning the results of the 2020 election, as in the video you just saw. It makes no sense because Donald Trump makes no sense. He's just making things up. It's total and utter crap. And that's why that motion will be denied. And that's why this case is going to go to trial. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a good one.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.